It's been nearly 3 years since I last stepped foot in that garden. We haven't met each other since. Low-hanging clouds lined up against the sky on a rainy day in Toronto, Canada. A young 18-year-old boy named Taki viewed through the foggy window. The window only gave him a small view of the sky. As he observed, the entire sky gave him free rein to his imagination. He felt like he was in a dream. He flinched at the sight of a beast, its belly turned towards him. The sea, clouds, and buildings all blended into the same mist in the distance. He imagined the morning ocean and walking across a bridge, a long and beautiful bridge. He flinched again and thought about the lonely ocean, sealed off by the sky as if it wasn't made of water. Taki exited the subway and walked among the overcrowded group of people. As he passed the wooden bridge of a Japanese-inspired garden, the sounds of his self-made leather shoes trod slowly through the rain. The gravel path he followed crunched as he stepped on it. It was surrounded by dark green weeds that contaminated the ground. A pavilion appeared in front of him. It was surrounded by green leaves, which danced in the rain, and a large lake, which drowned from the pouring rain. It was there, under that pavilion, where he met that woman. She wore a small dark green skirt. Her hair was long, dark, and ran above her shoulders. On one hand, she held a bottle of Coke, and the other, a bag of chips. Taki slowly made his way under the pavilion. As he stepped on the cracked wooden steps of the pavilion, the woman looked up towards him. She shifted to the side to make room for him on the bench. She had a poignant expression on her face, and Taki noticed this, but ignored it. He brought out his black notebook from his bag, and began drawing images of glasses, a hobby he acquired as a child. He glanced over at the woman, who sat still, looking out into the distance of the bright green plants in the garden. Taki rested his back on the wooden bench of the pavilion. He observed the ground and looked at the small cracks of the wooden planks making up the floor. His eyes made their way up to his leather shoes. The leather tightly enclosed his feet from the outside world. His eyes slowly walked their way to the woman's glasses. As he examined the clothing of the woman, he felt an old sense of familiarity. "Sorry to bother you, but have we seen each other before?" Taki asked nervously. "No, I don't think so," said the woman. "Oh, right. Sorry, I thought I saw you from somewhere. My bad. My name's Taki, by the way." "It's nice to meet you, Taki." The woman noticed Taki's school uniform and knew it from somewhere, but remained in silence. As the day passed, Taki went back to his small but comfortable apartment. He worked on his glasses drawings in his bedroom, and the sky transformed into a void of darkness. He looked out the window of his apartment and thought to himself, if the weather's better tomorrow, I'll go to school like I'm supposed to. Like I'm supposed to. What a joke. When he woke up, it was raining again. So as such, he made his way back to the pavilion, and right under it was a woman. She had a small leather purse beside her this time. She stared out into the open pond right beside the pavilion, with the rain freely falling from the sky. "Good morning," said the woman in a soft, timid voice as she turned her glistening eyes towards Taki. "Oh, hi again. Good morning," replied Taki. Taki placed his bags under the bench of the pavilion. "Did school get cancelled today?" the woman jokingly asked. Taki looked at the woman with a small smile. "What about you? You get fired from work?" The woman slowly looked down towards the ground and placed her bottle of Coke down to the bench. I'm skipping work again," replied the woman with a touch of sadness in her voice. "And chugging up some bottles of Coke in the morning," joked Taki. "You know, Coke isn't that good for you. You need to eat something with it if you're gonna drink that much." The woman looked up at Taki, and her frown turned into a slight smile. The woman brought out a handful of candy from her small leather purse. "Would these be good?" asked the woman as she crumbled the peppermint candies between her hands. Taki looked at the woman, questioning her sanity. The woman smiled while gently locking the candies between her hands. Taki noticed her smile, and he eventually caught the charming emotions irradiating from her face. Taki and the woman eventually exploded into laughter. They continued to laugh under the rain while the silver raindrops slid across the pavilion. Their laughter echoed in the distance while the sound of leaves swayed in the wind. At this short and yet simple moment, Taki felt complete, as if the woman filled a void in his life. As the days passed by, the rain continued to descend in small drops of silver from the bedarkened clouds. Taki and the woman continued to meet each other under the pavilion every morning, hoping for it to rain the next day. The pavilion was a place where they felt complete, a place where they could be free. "An eyeglass designer?" questioned the woman as she tried to hold in her laughter. "I don't know, I just love designing glasses. There's something about it I can't explain," said Taki. "I mean, it's lovely when you're so passionate about something," replied the woman. Taki noticed the woman holding another bottle of Coke beside her dark leather purse. "Don't forget to eat something with that Coke. Here, I actually made this sandwich at my house." Taki took out a small triangular sandwich from a transparent plastic container. As they shared a bite of the sandwich, they shared a smile. It was as if there was a connection between them. The rain continued to pour down and cleanse the clouded streets of Toronto. Taki and the woman continued to have more conversations. The evenings before Taki went to sleep, he hoped for the rain to come. When it rained, he could be in her world, a world where people did what they were born to do. To Taki, the mysterious woman resembled that entire world, and the secrets that that world held. At home, the woman laid down on her bed and felt the delicate fabric of her bedsheets. As she put her head back on the bed, she looked up towards the ceiling of her apartment. She recollected her thoughts about her life. Ever since a particular moment, her life revolved around lies and rumors, infecting and plaguing those around her. The next day, the rain continued to pour down. The woman and Taki met under the pavilion, and the woman slowly brought out a bag of materials. She passed it to Taki, while a huge smile blossomed on her face. "Wow, thank you. I needed these to create my glasses, actually." Taki quickly took out the book in his hands. "You're welcome," said the woman. She smiled and gave off a bright look on her face. Taki looked through the bag. "I'm actually designing glasses right now, but I don't know who the glasses are going to be for. And I don't know how to get the proper measurements or anything." The woman looked up at Taki. She slowly inched her way closer towards him, and he looked up towards her. As the sun began to shine through the clouded skies, Taki measured the dimensions of the woman's head. He attempted to trace her face in order to match the measurements within his notebook with his pencil, and tried to get these measurements as precise as possible. While Taki continued to get the woman's measurements, she looked at Taki. Her thoughts slipped out of her mouth. I didn't know what to do. It felt like I was falling and couldn't even see my own life. "I'm sorry, but what are you talking about?" said Taki as he looked up in confusion towards the woman's face. "I'm talking about a lot of things," stated the woman as she smiled at Taki. The woman remained mysterious to Taki. He still didn't know anything about her despite meeting her for every morning for a few weeks now. Her age, her name, and her job all remained a mystery to him. It was as if she left her life behind when she met in the garden. And then suddenly, the rainy season in Toronto ended. The rain eventually stopped pouring down from the clouds. The sun's rays shone through the skies and the rivers reflected the bright light emitting from its beautiful face. The glowing sun continued to cover the city with its warm blanket of heat. The woman continued to visit the garden, hoping that Taki would return. And she was happy, though, that Taki was being productive and not skipping school. But secretly, she wished that the rain never stopped pouring. On sunny days, it seemed as if the city was completely different, and the rainless days continued. Taki had no time to return to the garden, and even took up a part-time job, instead of revisiting the pavilion. And then, it was summer. Over the summer break, Taki continued to take multiple part-time jobs at restaurants around the city. On a train heading home, Taki thought about the woman. He felt empty and alone without her. Despite this, he knew that if he clung on to those emotions, he'd be stuck, and then she'd be stuck with him. Taki promised himself that he'd design a set of glasses that would make her wanna wear them and see the world in a new, different light. Throughout the summer, the woman continued to visit the pavilion and the garden. She sat there alone, with no one to talk to.